Since on Yom Kippur we hold all of who we are together, I must admit to you all, I worry. I'm a worrier. I worry for my wife and our toddler, for our neighbors, for the future of this city, this country, for the future of the Jewish people. My worry list tells you what and who I love, but sometimes can take me away from being present. So let's get present right now. I invite you to look around, truly take in this gathering of queer and trans and gay and lesbian and non-binary and ace and straight and allied Jewish intergenerational community marking 52 years of CBST High Holy Days, and some people here for the very first time. What a testament to the way our eternal flaming has endured, sustained, and reshaped what is possible right here, right now. I do, however, have one more worry to share. I am worried about the wear and tear that this year, that these times have had on our souls. In our slichot prayers last night, we heard the plaintive cry of Ha neshama lach, the soul is yours. Every morning we have the opportunity to pray Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. The soul you have given to me is pure. You have created it, you have shaped it, you have breathed it into me, and you guard it within me. Our tradition sees the neshama, the soul, as our life breath and the breath of the divine, and our sacred texts and healing prayers recognize the spectrum of suffering and injuries our souls can sustain. In recalling their roles in throwing Jacob into the pit, his brothers say to each other, "We saw his tzarat nafsho, his soul's distress when he pleaded with us, and we did not listen. Therefore, hatzara hazot, this distress has come upon us." And Reuben said to them, "Did I not tell you, do no wrong to the boy, but you paid no heed?" Hatzara hazot, this distress. On one level, it is the dire straits Jacob's brothers find themselves in, held in Egypt. Yet on another level, their distress is tzarat nafshotanu. It is their soul's distress. The tearing of their souls when Joseph's brothers threw him in the pit, or stood by and watched, or even protested, yet couldn't prevent his being sold into slavery in Egypt. Joseph's brothers, tzarat nafshotanu, could also be called, in our contemporary time, moral injury or distress, a framework used by care practitioners who work with veterans, healthcare workers, and others who are put in positions to witness, participate in, or even themselves act in ways which conflict with their own deepest held values. And just like we hold all of our transgressions collectively on Yom Kippur, chanting the Vidui and El Chet in the collective, owning together, as Rabbi Klein reminded us last night, the actions of all of our fellow human beings, so too can moral injury and distress, this affliction of the soul, be understood as a collective soul wounding. When we witness, are complicit with, or are unable to stop the actions of our authorities and public officials that violate our core moral values and expectations of righteous behavior, this is a tzarat nafshotanu, a wounding of our souls. And this is exactly why we have Yom Kippur. Living in a world where our own moral sense of self our own moral fiber risks injury is not a new problem. Our tradition offers us this day of atonement to tend to our souls, to note their scars, bruises, and tears, and their life breath, to reconstitute, reweave, repair our own moral sense of self. This is the essential work of Yom Kippur. And an awareness of our soul's distress calls us to two things: to strengthen our own personal tshuva, tefillah, and tzedakah, and to truly take this task seriously, to internalize this path our tradition has offered to make repair, and to today, right here and now, open ourselves to receive the abundant compassion and forgiveness which flows to us from the divine. This is an essential act to reaffirm our own sense of integrity and ability to act in the face of harm, to allow ourselves to do that soul repair of receiving forgiveness. And second, to attend to all of our souls in these remaining hours of Yom Kippur, turning towards each other, reaffirming our moral center. As we heard chanted in the Torah this morning, as soon as he even comes close to the sacred place for making atonement, Aaron, the high priest, must throw incense upon the fire to create a sacred shield, a protective cloud of smoke shielding him from the overpowering divine presence. This is what enables him to stay in that place, to make repair and atonement, first for himself, then his household, and then the whole community. And how does he create this shield? Aaron literally grabs 2 handfuls of ketoret samim dakah, the most finely ground incense, which is slipping through his fists, while he's also carrying a panful of glowing coals from the altar. But since his hands are full, the commentators imagine he had to put the ladle of hot coals in his teeth. He must have. Perhaps this is the image of Yom Kippur this year, attempting to juggle more than humanly possible, to hold on to what is precious while it inevitably slips from our hands, schlepping our sacred fire, not maybe even always in the safest ways, and yet somehow making it from the altar to atonement. Ketoret samim dakah, this sacred shield creating substance that makes the atonement process possible. Where does it come from? Dakah, translated here as finely ground, appears in this form only one other place in all of Tanakh. It is the source text for the Kol Demama Dakah, the still small voice that is heard in Unatana Tokef. It is Elijah the prophet who first hears the Kol Demama Dakah when he is seeking refuge from his own transgressions. Elijah is sent by the divine into the wilderness after engaging in gratuitous harm in the name of God. And then, after 40 days and 40 nights, a divine voice comes to him and asks, Elijah, why are you here? What has led you to this moment? And Elijah replies, but he does not speak the truth from his heart, and that is not doing it for this moment of reckoning. And so the Bat Kol, the divine voice, says to Elijah, come out, stand on the mountain before God. And then, lo and behold, God's self, passed by in a passage mirroring when Moshe received the sacred words which we repeat over and over these high holy days, bringing compassion to us. And God passed by, and there was a great and mighty wind, splitting mountains and shattering rocks, but God was not in the wind. After the wind, an earthquake, but God was not in the earthquake. After the earthquake, fire, but God was not in the fire. And after the fire, a still small voice. When Elijah heard it, he wrapped his mantle about his face, went out and stood at the entrance of the cave, and again the Bat Kol asks, "Why are you here, Elijah? Why are you here? Right here, right now." This is the Dakah, the still small voice of Yom Kippur. What of your own actions and inactions, of our own actions and inactions, has brought us to this precipice? What have you come here this Yom Kippur to face, to transform, by acknowledging and by allowing in space for that abundant compassion and overflowing forgiveness which is promised this day? After the shattering of the rocks, the wind, the fire, a still small voice emerges, awakening us to the possibilities of this exact moment. What prayers do we need to utter? What of our hearts must we open? Rabbi Nachman, the Hasidic master, teaches that when we do not know where to begin, when we have lost sight of the possibility of goodness, first in others and then in ourselves, we should focus all of our attention on a nukuda tova, on one point of goodness that we can locate within ourselves. So I invite you to take a moment to find that. What is your right here, right now, nukuda tova, point of goodness in yourself? And then Rabbi Nachman teaches we should continue this practice until we have a collection of so many points of goodness that we make a melody. Now, I want you to know, if you've never stayed until the end of Yom Kippur, we will be here through Ne'ilah. You should come. It is so joyful at the end. And honestly, there is a joy that suffuses this whole day. While some of what we are carrying is heavy, the opportunity to release, return, to weave ourselves back together, to affirm that we are part of a moral fabric that can tear and mend. Our souls can be harmed and heal. This is a point of goodness that we weave together into melody as we sing at the end of every Amidah. May we be sealed in the book of life, blessing, peace, proper sustenance. May we be remembered and inscribed. Gamar Chatima Tova.